Hey, what's going on, guys? Your favorite idiot here, and today I'm going to be ranking every single Chapter 3 season from my least favorite to my favorite. I like all of them, I think all of them were at least good, but I definitely have my opinions on them. I definitely think some are better than others. So, in Chapter 4, pretty much right around the corner, I mean, it's like what? Chapter 4 is going to be like what? Assuming the live event ends the season, it's gonna be like the fourth, maybe the fifth. So it's like you never know, but it's right around the corner, and I'm pretty excited for it. I do wish Chapter 3 would go on for a little bit longer. I don't know why Epic just decided to give it the short end of the stick here. That's kind of mean, Epic. Hashtag make Chapter 3 be longer. But anyway, I'm incredibly excited for it. I'm going to have a video about the whole live event itself with no commentary, and I'm going to give my personal thoughts on it. That's kind of like my plan for the Fortnite live event. But yeah. So let's get into this ranking of every single Chapter 3 season of Fortnite. Now, coming in at number 4, my least favorite season of Chapter 3, and definitely the one I posted the least about because I didn't really like it for a while until it eventually grew on me. That being Chapter 3, Season 2. Zero Build was released, a lot of really cool stuff story wise. I wasn't personally the biggest fan of it. I didn't like it. I'll admit it. I was not I was not exactly the biggest fan of it at first. I didn't like it at first. It was a massive downgrade from Chapter 3 Season 1, and which it is a downgrade, but not as massive as I thought it was. My biggest problem with it at first was the fact that first there was a lack of updates. It wasn't like Chapter 2, like it would just go on like this long stretch of like literally no updates. But it's like updates are so few and far between. It wasn't to the point where it was like a content drought, but it was a definitely noticeable lack in updates when compared to the last season, which left me with little to no content to actually do. And also, for a good portion of its life, you really couldn't play build mode. That's my problem. I love build mode. I love what building adds to the game. I love the extra hint of strategy and skill it adds. But obviously, I know people don't like build mode, and I know that people really love no build. And listen, alright, I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm perfectly fine. More people playing Fortnite, that's better. That's good. I want to see the game I mainly make content about succeed. I love Fortnite. I want to see it succeed. But my problem is when it was just zero build and nothing else, you pretty much took all the skill and everything that building brought to the game and threw it away. Now, yes, zero build did of course come back. It wasn't like gone forever or anything, but you could definitely tell that there was a lack in quality. to there was a lack of things to do. I guess you could say because building adds so much. No building also limits how traversable the map is. You think about it, right? Fortnite as a game is structured around building. Building is a core mechanic. The game itself is structured around the building mechanic, especially back then, and that means that the map was also. And we didn't have a lot of mobility items. Now in zero build, you have a ton of mobility items, and even in build mode, there's a lot of mobility items to help you get around the map. So the map is way more traversable. But my problem is back in Chapter 3 Season 2, it wasn't. it wasn't really that traversable. So yeah, that's kind of like my biggest problems. The live event for Chapter 2 Season 3. Wait. The live event for Chapter 3 Season 2 uh, was really good. I really liked that event. Definitely one of the better events in the Fortnite's history. But once again, it does the live event great. I appreciate that they added zero build, even if it was kind of, and at least for me. And I really like the story aspect of it. But that's kind of all I have to say about it. Yeah, yeah, I went on a 4 minute rant about Chapter 3 Season 2. My god. Moving on, we have the current season, Chapter 3 Season 4. Chrome, it's everywhere. The story, I will say, I think the strongest. Let me talk about some of the good stuff about it. I like being positive. Let me talk about some of the good stuff that you can worry about. The negatives, the problems I have this season a little bit later. Uh, so the story of this season, I really like. I really like what they're doing with the Chrome story wise. I also really like Chrome as a mechanic, but I'll get into that later. But I really like the story. I think that the setup for Chapter 4 is definitely there. I'm excited for the live event. I know some of you guys might be thinking, well, why am I making this video? The live event didn't even happen yet. I don't care. I'm making it. I'll do like an update on the community tab if my perspective of this season changes when relative to the other Chapter 3 seasons. But there is, but yeah, the story is great. I love it. It's kept me engaged at least. Kept me interested. Once again, I really like Chrome as a mechanic. Mechanically speaking, I think Chrome is a great addition. Chrome can be used as like an extra survivability really, because it can heal you. If you guys didn't know, you can turn into a blob that makes you harder to hit because obviously if you're smaller, you're going to have a smaller hitbox. And I think you also move like slightly faster than you would just normally running, which is really helpful. So. A lot of really good stuff. It helps the mobility. You can go through walls. Like I said, it's not as overpowered as people thought. Because considering how long the animation is for where you go through like a wall, somebody can easily shoot with a shotgun or shoot you a couple times with an SMG to weaken you or kill you if you're low enough. So yeah, not that overpowered of a mechanic. I do have one problem with the Chrome, but I will get into that. I'll get into that later. But Chrome as a mechanic, I really like. I think it adds a lot to the game. It adds a lot more, I guess you could say, strategy to the game. Because if you use the Chrome like efficiently in fights, you can dominate, dude. Chrome, you know how to use it right. It is overpowered. Or maybe not overpowered. I don't think it's overpowered. But it is deadly if you know how to use it, dude. You can be really deadly if you know how to use it. The next thing is that I really like how they struck a nice balance between Chapter 3 Season 2 and Chapter 3 Season 3. Because if you guys didn't know, I forgot to mention this when I was just talking about Chapter 3 Season 2. But the weapons we got were really overpowered. We got a lot of stupidly good weapons. We got what? We got the drum shotgun. We had the the machine pistol, the combat SMG. We had a lot of really good weapons. We had LMGs were back. The MK7 assault rifle, which I miss. Epic, come on, give me it back. Give me it back, Epic, please. Please, bro. I need it. Alright, anyway, references and memes aside. But yeah, and Chapter 3, Season 3, I'm just going to say Season 3's problem now, because you guys know we're talking about Chapter 3 by now. And then Season 3's problem was the weapons, while it did fix from the previous season, they weren't, stupidly overpowered. The problem is, they fixed the problem with another problem. Because instead of them being stupidly overpowered, then they were stupidly underpowered. We really didn't have a lot of good weapons. Like the hammer was okay. The two-shot shotgun's alright. But it's like the burst SMG. No, not the burst SMG, but that's not even a thing. The charged SMG is absolute garbage. A lot of the weapons they added throughout the season were not that great. Everything just felt so underpowered that season. So I do like how with this season they just struck a nice balance in between there. The weapons we have are not stupidly overpowered, like Season 2, and they weren't stupidly underpowered like the previous season, Season 3. But I do hope that they do keep this kind of balance going for Chapter 4. Yeah, Chapter 4. I don't know why I questioned this. No doubt. It's after Chapter 3 is Chapter 4. No doubt. Yeah, I really do hope they keep this nice balance. Add in a few new weapons, I will say. Maybe you'd be really great if for the new season. I guess not for the new season, but for the new chapter. they mixed some of our newer weapons, like our newer ARs, our newer shotguns with some of the older ones. Cause I think that'd be really cool. Like have Chapter 4 be kind of like, uh, you kind of like have the weapon pool kind of be a mixture of the previous chapters. We got the OG assault rifle, the Scar, it'll attack the pump, mix it with a few things that are added in like Chapter 2. Maybe have like the boss with the mythic weapons. I think those are pretty cool because I really like the high risk high reward with them because the mythic bosses they had a ridiculous amount of health, and if you weren't prepared to fight them, you would just get annihilated by them. Not to mention the countless henchmen back in Chapter 2 Season 2. That season still stands as one of the best Fortnite's ever had. But overall, and then like Chapter 3, we had like a whole new weapons, dude. Maybe like the MK7 assault rifle. I know I said it's overpowered, but like that's just kind of my personal bias sort of because I would like the weapon. Like the hammer assault rifle, I really don't want to say this. The prime shotgun, the one of the numerous SMGs Chapter 3 has had. Only one of them though, because one of them alone would be good enough. We don't need to have 3 ridiculously overpowered SMGs. And that'd be really cool. So I do hope that the Chapter 4 does continue this balance. But yeah, like I said, weapon balance in this season does it a lot better. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, let's get into some of the negatives, alright? I've talked about a good chunk of the positives of this season. Now, no, one more positive. Mobility is great. We have a whole bunch of more mobility items. I really like the mobility. I think the mobility items are great. I love them. Yeah, that's kind of all I have to say for the positives now. Now we're actually getting into what I consider to be the negatives of this season, the downsides, the not so good parts. Those being Chrome. Now, listen, I know I was just complimenting Chrome for how good it was mechanically and how good it, and how I think it's being handled story-wise. And while I do stand by that, from a visual perspective, it doesn't make the island look too good. It might actually, like every part of the Chrome Island, while I do like what Chrome adds to the game, I do not like what it adds visually. Visually, Chrome does not look too great. It has a cool effect on your character. I will say they definitely did a pretty good job making it look good on the skin that you're wearing. I will say that. Besides that, there's not a lot there. I don't really know. There's like all of the traversable areas where you could where all of the places where the Chrome is. I don't know why I said traversable areas. I guess I'm really tired. Where the traversable? No. I'm cutting this part out. But pretty much wherever the Chrome is, it doesn't look that great. The visuals are definitely down. I really like Chapter 3's whole art style and the way it looks. I think personally, I think it's the best Fortnite looks has ever looked. I really like the new art style for the map and everything. So I don't have a problem with that. But everywhere that has Chrome on it kind of looks like garbage. I really don't like it. But like I said, that's kind of like a minor complaint because, obviously I'm not a huge how things look guy. I am more interested in how the game plays, the mechanics, everything that would actually impact how you play the game. But yeah, so that's just kind of one of the minor nitpicks. Other thing I have with this new season here is that how slow everything seems. A lot of stuff just seems slow for no reason. Well, not slow, but the content that's being added feels slow. Like it's nowhere near as bad as season 2, but the content definitely has been going in as a slow rate. It's understandable, sure, but it still means a lack of content and a lack of interest in this season because if you guys haven't noticed, this is one of the most least interesting seasons, at least from I guess at least Google searches, I guess. like people don't really Google search this season a lot, which is understandable considering that the lack of content updates really isn't helping its case here. Things like Twitch, it's still doing. It's like topping. I think it's still up there in terms of viewership. Just not a lot of people are just exactly searching it up anymore. Like the season started strong. It started really strong. It added a lot of stuff at the beginning. Then it just kind of slowed down, which I think is a huge problem. But now let's move on to let's move on to the next season. I said kind of all I need to. Now this is the third spot. Now let's move on to our next season, Chapter 3, Season 3. Oh boy. Now, Season 3 for this chapter is something else, I will say. There's a lot to love about this season, and there's not really a whole lot wrong with it. I have to say, there's actually not a lot wrong with this season. Season 3 as a whole, the Dragon Ball event does carry it. I'm going to be honest. The Dragon Ball event definitely helps it a lot in my eyes. I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. So the fact that we got a Dragon Ball, crossover, not event, crossover this season, I think really helped it for me. The Kamehameha was added, or if you on TikTok at all, you look the Kamehameha, but we don't need to talk about that. We don't need to talk about that meme, alright? It's behind us. It's in the past. You don't need to worry about that anymore. Okay? So, what is there to like about this season? First off, aesthetically beautiful. Genuinely. Literally the best I think a season has ever looked. Aesthetically beautiful. I love the aesthetic of Chapter 3, Season 3. I hope they continue on. Vibin was such a great season. A lot of people don't like Vibin. That's the one thing I have noticed. A lot of people really don't like Vibin, and I kind of don't know why. Usually it's a lot of people that don't play the game as much. I know that a few content creators also really didn't like Vibin. Like I'm pretty sure like Mr. Top 5 has like when Paradise, this current season, Chapter 3, Season 4, was about to come out. He said I hope that Paradise is better than Vibin. Which I don't know why. Like, yeah, sure. I hope every season is better than the last. I hope, obviously, like if every season was better than the last, then it'd be amazing. But the way he kind of talks about Vibin, like even before all of this, it was like kind of negative. He always kind of put Vibin in a very negative light. I don't appreciate that. I don't really appreciate Vibin getting so much hate, considering that I have grown to love Vibin. Yeah, like I said, aesthetically amazing. Dragon Ball crossover was great. A lot of really cool items. That's one thing I noticed about Chapter 3 as well. Like, like at a certain point in Chapter 2, if you guys don't remember, like in Chapter 2, Season 5, we had a bunch of crossovers, but it was all skins. All cosmetics. No new actual content updates of that entire season, I'm pretty sure. Outside of like them like fixing sand tunneling. And even that took forever. But Vibin, we actually got new items to use. And they weren't garbage like the Naruto event. Yeah, that kunai is still garbage. I don't care what you say, the exploding kunai is absolute garbage. Get that out of here. But the Kamehameha in the Nimbus is amazing, dude. Love it. Once again, you got the skins for that event were also really cool. You got like what? Vegeta, Goku, Bulma, and Beerus. Really cool. Yeah, there was overall a lot that this season did right. I'm not really kind of going into much detail here because, like, it has a lot of the same. It's like a lot of the same pros like many of the other seasons throughout this. We also got some new weapons. A lot of them weren't great. But the content updates, we got a lot that season. That's one thing I noticed. Like I think it was like almost weekly content updates. That was amazing. Kept me interested way more. The story for this season isn't really a high point. It was kind of like we're celebrating, and it's kind of just set up for, for the season that we're currently on. And I have to say that it was all right. That's fine. It's fine. I understand it's kind of like the grace period of the island where like no one's worried. We're always, as the season suggested, vibing. We've been partying, and now this season back to more serious matters. Party's over. Time to get back to work. Let's do this. But vibing overall, I'd say is really good. I love it. It really did a lot in my opinion. It did a lot of things right that it didn't on paper. Besides the fact that it didn't have a live event, it did pretty much everything that a Fortnite season needs to do. I do wish it had a live event. If it has a live event, it could actually be in my top 5. I'm not even gonna lie. That season really grew on me since I made my my little tier list video. That season grew on me a lot. I really liked vibing. But yeah, it's kind of it for vibing. I really liked it. But however, there's one chapter 3 season, and by process of elimination, if 2, 3, and 4 are already out, you can probably guess which one is next. Chapter 3, Season 1, the first Chapter 3 season. My god, what a great start to this chapter. This season, alright, it did the whole new... Well, it was kind of like... it did like the whole... It did like kind of like the soft reset a lot better. There was so much more. It did so much more than Chapter 2 Season 1. Like, Chapter 3 Season 1 did a lot. We had all new weapons. Those at the start of the season, besides like the harpoon gun, we didn't have any of the weapons from Chapter 2 or Chapter 1. I thought that was great. I thought that was actually really nice. Because the way I looked at it is that was like Epic saying, these new weapons can stand on their own. We don't need to use them. Let's let people get used to these ones. Get used to these ones. Let these ones grow on people, and then we can start introducing some of the more old weapons as the season went along, which I thought was really great. I think that's amazing. The map itself, the Chapter 3 map as a whole, was really great. We got the Return to Tilted Towers that everyone hated for some reason. And no one landed there that season. No one landed at Tilted that season. I landed there like all the time. Maybe like 1 or 2 games. I had like a lot of people at landing at Tilted, but for the most part, at least in my lobbies, for some reason, no one wanted to land there. And Tilted Tower was such an unpopular spot. People begged for it to come back for years. But yeah, the new weapons were great. Tilted Towers is back. The map itself, the Chapter 3 map in general, probably went through more changes that season than like half of Chapter 2. Like for half the, and then for like Chapter 2 map for half the chapter. So, I really like it. Snow covered it a lot at first. I thought that made the aesthetic even better. A lot of really cool things. Battle Pass was great. We got Spider-Man. Spider-Man Mythics were really cool. I really liked them. Made traversing a whole lot easier. Overall, it was just a really fun time. And it was also a new breath of fresh air because we were stuck at Chapter 2 for so long. At that point, it was nice to see to finally get something new, because the Chapter 2 map really didn't change that. Like maybe some like new stuff. Maybe like there was a couple map changes here and there, but it's like it was such a nice breath of fresh air to get a totally new map basically, and I think it was all the better for it. So I think Chapter 3 Season 1 definitely benefited a lot from Chapter 2 not adding a whole lot to the table in terms of map changes. It benefited a lot. It made the Chapter 3 map feel a lot more impactful. So, but yeah, that's kind of it. Chapter 3 overall, I think it's tied for best weapon balance with the current season. And I think personally, it has grown on me a lot. It's right now, I'm going to be honest, it's a top 3 season right now. That's how much it grew on me. I know my tier list video, I plopped it in at like number 5, but looking back on it, I looked back on it even more recently, and I have nothing but love for that season. Now, but however, it's not perfect. There are a few things wrong with it. There are a few things that I think it could have done better. Alright, first off, let's just get it out of the way. The Stinger SMG, especially on release of that season, was ridiculous. I think we can all agree. The stinger really wasn't that great. I think we can all agree on that, at the very least. Alright? And the shotguns, especially in that season, were not great. The auto shotgun and the striker pump, they're alright now. Not back then, though. I don't even think the striker pump's like... Is the striker pump bolted? I'm pretty sure it is. But, it's kind of like all the negatives I have for it. Overall, it's really good. I know it doesn't have a live event either, but that's kind of like... No first season of a chapter has had a live event. You know, so it's kind of like... It was just following the standard that other chapters have set for it. Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. So, like, they were just following their standard. So, you know... But overall, I think it's by far the best start to a chapter ever, in my opinion. Maybe who knows, maybe chapter 4 will blow us out of the water again. Maybe chapter 4 will make chapter 3, chapter 1, chapter 2 look like dog water, alright, in comparison. You know, and that would be amazing. I'd be all for it. Because the better the game is, the better it is. Alright, and the more interesting it is for me, then the more motivated I would be to post content about this stuff. It's just a win for everybody. Let's be honest. All right, it's a win for everybody involved. The Fortnite community would be, be really, really happy. But Chapter 3 overall, I'd say right now it's probably the strongest chapter. At least for what it is. I think like at least for the first 4 seasons. Like we're just comparing like the first 4 seasons of every chapter. Right? I think all 3 chapters had a really strong first 4 seasons. Chapter 1 seasons definitely do have a lot more nostalgia behind them. But I'd say overall they all got off to a really strong start. At least with the first 4 seasons. You know, like kind of like the first season. It's kind of like the back to basics season. I will say Chapter 3 definitely did it best. Then we have the second season. It's a little bit, it's more experimental. Add some more things, but nothing too crazy. I think Chapter 3... I know not Chapter 3, but I think Chapter 2 did that, did the second season of a chapter the best. Then we have the third season. It kind of expands... expands or upon what happened last season. I think, once again, that Chapter 3 did that best. And then we have the fourth season, which is kind of like... Let's do this. I think Chapter 1 did it best. So, that's kind of all I have to say. I just want to say thank you, all of you guys, for watching my dumb video. If you guys want to see more videos from me in the future for some reason, you guys know where to find me. Just go on my channel. Also, follow me on, like, Twitter. It's, like, the only other social media. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok. I don't really use TikTok that much. In fact, until like a few days ago, I kind of forgot it existed. But I do use Twitter. I do use Twitter quite a bit. So go follow me on there. And also, you never know. Maybe I'll start doing more community stuff. Maybe I'll host like a Q&A. When I hit 500 subscribers, I'm gonna do a 500 subscribers Q&A. That's the plan. I swear. It's not gonna happen if like none of you guys ever respond. Which, let's be honest, most of you guys are lazy anyway, and you're probably not. But if you guys want to prove me wrong when I eventually hit 500 subscribers, go right ahead. Be my guest, actually. So yeah, that's kind of it. If you like this video, then kind of do whatever you want. I'm not your boss. I'm not gonna boss you around. It's your life. If you feel like subscribing and liking, that's entirely on you. All right, I'm not gonna force you to do anything you don't want you to. But on that note, I hope you guys do have a great day, and I'll see you guys whenever the next video comes out. What day is it? Like what? Today's Saturday, so I'll see you guys on Monday. So long. Peace. Yeah, I have no idea where you are, so I'm just gonna leave. save the day as usual.
That ain't my tree.
This one's just up there.
I don't want no gun. Gee.
Alright, we got big day as usual, remember? Turn around and fight the guy.
Hang on, Morty. I'm looting. No question, my very questionable tactics. I'm saving your life. I'm not saving your life.
Who killed you? Oh, they killed you.
I got killed by an anime skin.
John, dude.
Yeah,
Morty.
Morty.
Dark me out school.
He died to an emo cat, I died to anime, so it's about even. And that pumpkin died to someone cooler than him. Very cool.
Roll with bitch.
Yeah, they had another key.
I know.
That went well.
They went very well.
Also, by the way, there was a shield. Someone else.
I know. Might exactly leave the position and start fighting somebody. I see.
This is one fight.
We ain't even got to try to plow through.
Mother's a fucking cop. It's no
I
bad.
hope that person dies to that wolf. Come on.
The wolf comes out to his computer and kills his mom.
Oh.
How do you know he's playing
I
with
was
the
mom
computer?
died of cancer when he was 3.
She has three. She has a lifetime left of not raising that bastard.
Oh.
This is not definitely not good for your channel.
Susan,
Yeah,
please.
honestly,
Show
you might
mercy.
as well just stop the recording at this point, bruh.
Alright, well, I'm gonna go. Alright, guys, I'm gonna go suffer with these guys more. See you guys next time. Susan, please don't delete my channel.
We're not putting it on anyway. It's 50 seconds.
Oh no, this is definitely being a video. I need a